asking about the playlist, so please ask the DJ afterwards. Thank you all so much for coming to This Is My Body 2025. Yes, this is our 7th year in the making. I was talking to Odelia yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is like longer than some relationships, you know? It's like 7 years. It's really incredible. And so we're so thrilled that you all are here today. We know it's a very important day, but just as a way of introduction, my name is Vina.
My name is Odelia.
And we are the co-founders of the Nuvalia Collective, an organization based here in the Bay Area that seeks to build communities of belonging and design experiences for community building. So we do a variety of different things, but our favorite thing that we get to do every single year is this program, This Is My Body. And so This Is My Body is a cohort-based writing and performance program for women of color in the Bay Area. So for 2 months, we walk our cohort through writing and then performing their own original piece. So the pieces that you will see here on stage is an original piece, and it only happens live one time. So the fact that you are here witnessing this moment is super, super special. So I hope you can give them all the applause, all the love, all the laughter, all the snaps that their story deserves. Yeah.
So today, people across the US, including here in the Bay, took to the streets to protest against oppressions and injustices that are hell-bent on destroying our communities. We stand with protests everywhere, and today in this space, we gather alongside another type of protest, one rooted in truth-telling and refusal. Storytelling is political. In a time when our rights, our histories, and our futures are under attack, storytelling is an act of resistance. We will not be erased, we will not be silenced, and we will tell our stories and in our own terms, especially today.
So to open up our show, we're actually going to welcome a cohort member from 2023 back to the stage, and I'm going to introduce her. Yao Zhang is pursuing her master's in expressive arts therapy at the California Institute of Integral Studies. She hopes to combine the arts, somatic embodiment, and the therapeutic container to catalyze transformative growth and healing. She believes in the innate capacity of all people to transmute trauma and reclaim an embodied sense of aliveness. In her free time, she takes dance classes, scribbles lines of poetry in her journal, and hums snippets of songs around her house. She lives in Oakland with her partner, close friends, and a cat named Nudge. So please welcome Yao Zhang to the stage.
Hi, everyone. Oh, so many beautiful faces. So good to see you all here. My name is Yao. I'm so excited to read 2 poems for you today. So the themes of my poems today are about claiming space, taking back space, taking up space. So my first poem is, quick context, inspired by Rudy Francisco's poem called An Honest Poem. And Rudy Francisco, if you know him, is this award-winning competitive slam poet that travels and professionally does this for his work. And he asked his friend one day, hey friend, what kind of poem do you think I should write for this upcoming competition? And this friend has seen him through the years competing, and his friend tells him, well, Rudy, you should just tell an honest poem. And he says, what do you mean an honest poem? All my poems are honest. And he tells Rudy, well, you write all these beautiful poems for their lyricism and their grand metaphors and their beautiful language, but I just want to hear you say something honest. So Rudy decides to write an honest poem, and this is my version of that. I like my eggs kind of runny, like a mix between scrambled and omelet with a dash of Maggi sauce. And as my friends have pointed out, I happen to love a strong white female protagonist in a romantic period piece. Usually, you know, the spunky writer or poet, think films like Pride and Prejudice or Little Women. But I will say, it's not because they're white. It's just that strong female protagonists in romantic period pieces tend to be white, okay? We need more representation. And it's funny when people tell me their first impressions. You seem really put together. You know, this tall woman, too cool for school. But really, I'm just socially awkward. I stumble my words, miss punchlines. I'm airheaded because of my undiagnosed, inattentive ADHD. And also, I don't know how to flirt with women. And I will say, that's not my fault. Femmes lack initiative, including this one. And my anxiety at times can spiral like this. My friend gave me a funny look. Did I say something wrong? Do they not like me? Did I hurt their feelings? Oh my God, did I ruin this friendship? Are they gonna leave? Just breathe. Yeah. Take a look at the blue in the sky. Feel the sun warm your face. You're safe. And my room, and my car, and my backpack gets messy sometimes, but so does my head and my heart. I don't always say things in the right order in a feeling, affirmation, request format. I hurt my loved ones unintentionally. I become an oak tree snapped in two from lighting, and then I'll wonder if I'll ever get better. Or if I'm too hardwired, too old to relearn these childhood patterns. And sometimes I'm insecure about getting older, and I don't often like my nose. But there's evenings when I look in the mirror and I see the crow's feet at the smile in my eyes. And I remind myself I feel most beautiful watching the sun go to sleep, turning on night lights of orange, pink glows. And I see the sunspots on my skin as a blessing, because it means I'm still on this earth, spinning around our galaxy star. And I've grieved my lonely childhood, the parents I ached for but couldn't have. And I've sat in the deep wells of empty, containing everything I lacked. But at this beautiful age of 32, I'm realizing that it was all just making space for everything in my life I have now. And I'm so grateful to be alive. Thank you. And in the theme of taking up space, my second piece is about taking up erotic space, unapologetically. And I hope it inspires you in some way to reclaim your pleasure or reclaim some form of eroticism in your own life in whatever way makes you feel free. So this poem is called Free Fall. Lay me down in a bed of your breathing. Lock my hands and squeeze them tight. Bathe me in a layer of your sweat, then devour me whole and quench your thirst. Linger at the edge of the peak to take in my view and gather my breath from me at the precipice and dare me with a whisper to jump. With a silent scream, I'll leave this body and find it again. we exhale in the here and now. A raindrop suspended in a molecule of time, free falling. The quiver of a breeze. So take a ride with me on this rocket ship with no other passengers but the air. Let me in. Let me fly. Let me. Thank you.
Thank you, Yao. So as we come to the end of our 7th cohort, there is much we've witnessed and learned over these years about the impact on the program, whether it's the impact on the women who have invested in themselves to be in the program, the impact on the community who comes to witness these stories, and the impact on ourselves. Also, raise your hand if this is your 6th or 7th show. It's always amazing to see how many people. Oh, I love how many people have been here. For the women who've been part of the program, we've witnessed beautiful friendships come out of what it means to support each other through a difficult journey. We have seen stories told for the very first time that go from trembling lips to steady hands. We've seen the birth of writers and performers who continue their craft long after this. And we have seen the power of what happens when the women who've experienced this go to someone else that they know and say, come to this space. It is created for you. For the community audience, we have witnessed the deep gratitude of seeing your story reflected on the stage, having meaningful conversations about stories that might rub against your own realities, and also how year after year, more individuals, more organizations, and more businesses are investing in our work. And last, the impact on ourselves cannot be made small. Every cohort clarifies and sharpens our passion for this work. Every year, we're in awe of how community shows up to support us, because This Is My Body started with a question of like, what would it look like to if we went and did one-woman shows, and then we're like, maybe we should let other people do a one-woman show, and we just create the space for that. But every year, that question of what it would look like gets answered tenfold. And for myself, 2 years ago, a cohort member stood up here and told a story about a health diagnosis that mirrored my own. Her story stayed with me all the way to right now, 2 months after a successful surgery. I am beyond grateful for this work.
And maybe one day we will do our own one-woman show, Delia. People have been asking, like, when are y'all gonna do one? But, we'll see.
I know, I think a lot of people here thought I was performing, and I was like, no.
Surprise, she is. No, just joking. Yeah, I really, what Odelia says is so beautiful in talking about community. And I think now more than ever, we really need to come together in community. And I think what's so beautiful about This Is My Body is that you're not writing alone, you're not performing alone, you're with a cohort. So you're bouncing ideas off of one another, you're sharing ideas, you're validating one another, you're challenging one another to grow, to learn, to play. And so that's the beauty of this cohort. And I think today what you'll be experiencing is a lot of folks' individual stories, but the power really comes from all of us building this collective container for them. So you all are here witnessing their stories, holding their stories. The cohort has held them, and now it's your turn to hold them as well. And so we're just really thrilled that each year the audience really makes this moment so special and so unique, because these stories don't just stay on a page and don't, they really get to go with all of you, and hopefully will inspire you all to share your story in the future. So we could not be more thrilled that you all have decided to spend this beautiful Saturday afternoon with us. And yeah, we hope that we can continue this journey together. You'll notice that there are some folks in the audience here who have our previous cohort members. Folks have come back and to be part of this community. So just really grateful for you all to be here. And with that, we're just gonna start the show to bring up the folks that you all came here to see. So please, get ready for an amazing, amazing few hours.
So as Vina said earlier, we have 2 guest performers who are coming back from a previous cohort, and then we have 6 amazing women in this cohort who will perform here tonight. As we introduce each performer, we ask another performer to write something about them, something about like how they've witnessed them show up for themselves and for others in the cohort. So we'll be reading that along with some of our own thoughts. So of Susana, Jessica writes, "It has been a pleasure to meet and be in community with Susana. She brought such warmth and cariño to the space. I especially loved when she giggled, as it brought much needed laughter and smiles. I admire the way she reframed her piece to focus on how she continuously is choosing to step into her most authentic self." Recently, I know many of us saw the movie Sinners. And in Sinners, Ryan Coogler puts forth the premise of what it means to be a griot in your community, someone who is able to weave together past, present, and future. And in the work and the stories that Susana does, I see her being able to do that. She is calling us back to ancestral knowledge. She is calling us to be present in our body, and she is also calling us to think about what our future can look like. So please welcome Susana Caceres with We Are Sacred.
Wait, Nancy, Nancy, wait, Nancy. If I had one wish for humanity, for everyone that I love, it would be that they can remember, like sometimes I can remember. Sometimes when I'm grounded and I'm in the flow, I can remember that I am divine. And I can act from that place. I can access my divine self to help my human self. My divine self can show love, compassion, forgiveness, and kindness to my human self. I can remember that my mistakes are just lessons. And that I am not my trauma. I can remember that, like everyone else, I came here with a purpose, and I am meant to share that purpose. I have my own unique magic, my own ancestral medicine, my own special sauce, you could say. When I'm connected to my divinity, I can tend to my feelings. I am a celium Cancer, after all. I can hone in on my needs and my desires. I can honor my truth, and I can speak it. We are divine beings having a human experience. And we also are human beings having a divine experience. Both are true. We are on purpose. We are exactly where we are supposed to be. We are love, and we like ourselves. Mi magia, mi medicina, es amor. My magic, the medicine that I carry, is love. My special sauce is love, and I am here to share it with you. First and foremost, I am in love with myself. I am a queer, hella gay, solo polyamorous, kinky unicorn of love. Pronouns she, her, and femme. My journey started when my soul decided to be conceived in San Salvador, El Salvador. I came to this country in my mother's womb. She was 5 months pregnant. We made that journey together. She had an asthma attack. We could have died, but we survived. And on July 17th, 1974, I became the first person in my lineage to be born on this land. Oh, thank you. I became the first person in my lineage to be born on this land. Specifically, unceded Tongva land, Los Angeles. I had a really beautiful childhood. I had everything that I needed. It wasn't perfect. I had everything except for my father. I had a beautiful home. I had structure. I had family. And especially, I had love from my mama and my abuelita Carmen. It was that foundational love that ingrained in me that I am love and that I deserve love. Those first 9 years of my life were amazing. And then our lives changed. And like my mom before me and my grandmother before her, I was adultified. I became a third parent to my annoying little siblings. I decided at 13 to get my first job. That and socialization really led me to codependence, leaving my feelings and my needs last. And that actually led me to be trapped in a 17-year relationship. From 17 to 34, I was in a relationship where I took care of my ex to the detriment of myself. I paid for our lives. I was scared. I experienced emotional and sexual abuse. I was in the closet. I told no one my whole truth. But even in the hardest of moments in my life, I had that little fire inside of me, inside my gut, inside my heart, inside my spirit. That little fire that knew that I deserved to be treated better, that I deserved love, that felt good. That knowledge and that fire propelled me to get help, to get therapy, and finally leave that relationship. I came out of the closet. And I was like, you know what? I never want to be monogamous again. I'm good. That experience where my soul was dying, where I was lost to myself, where I was so far from where I am today, that experience still, it helped me to remember. Throughout the struggle of trying to figure out why I was so unhappy for so long, I still knew, I still had that knowledge. That knowledge that we all have. Our connection to our divinity. It is in there. It's in our bodies. It's it's in our souls. If I take the time to sing, to say an affirmation for myself, to have a good cry, if I take the time to say a prayer, to do a little ceremony for myself, to set up an altar with water, earth, fire, and air. If I take the time to sit in nature, to experience pleasure, to play, to dance, I can remember. I can honor myself, and I can remember to be kinder, to be more self-forgiving. No one can care for me or love me the way that I can. And I know that I can heal my trauma and I can reparent my inner selves. I know all of this, and still I forget, like all the time. As soon as we come earthside, we slowly start to forget. We come to this world and we experience trauma, and that trauma leads to disconnection from source. What we are seeing in the world and what we have seen throughout history, genocide, transphobia, xenophobia, it's all disconnection. The inability to see the humanity and the divinity in each other. But you know what? The opposite is also true. Because right now, I can see the divinity in all of you. I am remembering for all of us right now. So we are gonna smudge it out. This is medicine. We are medicine. We are good and we are sacred. So I ask you, can you blow on your embers? That little fire inside of you, blow on that fire, let that smoke come. Cleanse yourself with that smoke. Bless yourself with that smoke. Remember, you are sacred. Aho.
Our next performer is Aura. And about Aura, Susanna writes, Aura was always sweet and kind to her cohort members. She was vulnerable and pushed herself to share very personal stories with us. I'm so proud of her for her work in this writing and performance process. And one of the things that we always do with our performers is we encourage them to really play. Some of these stories are tough, they're challenging, but the play aspect is so important because writing and creativity is really all about that play. But I think somehow when we get older, we forget how to play, we forget how to have fun. And so we really encourage everyone to really tap into that. And I'm just really proud of seeing how Aura really took that into consideration and really leaned into it. We had so many beautiful moments in which we just were like laughing with each other and like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. It's just like those big eyes of when you hit a realization. So whenever I saw her hit those moments in her story, it just made me feel like we were playing together. So please welcome Aura to the stage.
Can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. Take off your shoes. Turn around. Put up your hands. I wasn't under arrest. I was being committed. Committed to a mental institution. They called it an intake. It felt more like an unraveling. How did I get here? Just the other day, I was an executive director in the student government leading a team of 12. I was acing my challenging statistics and research classes. I was organizing multiple events with hundreds of students in attendance. And now, I'm here in a madhouse. A madhouse? Me? Two nurses watched me undress. No privacy, no dignity. They took my clothes, my earrings, my phone, my pride. That was the most shameful day of my life. Doctor, what am I doing here? Why am I here? There is a pattern to what you've been experiencing. What? What do you mean? I thought I was just tired, overwhelmed. School's kind of hard, you know. No. You have a serious mental illness, and it will require you to take medication for the rest of your life. Wait? No, that's not possible. I mean, I'm healthy. I never fall sick. No, 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 no. And so it became an open secret, one my family tiptoed around, one I tried to bury under busyness and overachievement. Because if this got out, oof, the cultural shame, the religious shame. Imagine what the aunties will say. Who will marry you in this your condition now? Ha, tufia kwa. What the church would say. Have you heard that pastor's daughter is running mad? Oof, bless her heart. My mom told me to pray, to ask for deliverance. She said, stop taking the meds and trust God. I wanted to trust God. And so after a year, I stopped. I stopped taking my medication. Felt too heavy, too labeled, too clinical, too un-Christian-like, too shameful. But then came the stress, working while schooling. My sister had a baby. She almost died. She needed help taking care of the baby. I was the strong one, always the strong one, until I wasn't. It's 4 a.m., and I'm in my tiny college apartment that I share with a girl I barely know. The air is quiet, thick, but occasionally I hear the sound of the refrigerator and the creak of the building settling in. My thoughts are racing, loud, disjointed, fast, racing like cars with no brakes, spiraling, each one running into the next one. I look outside and I see the red and blue lights. Oh my gosh, the police is here. Who called them? Maybe my roommate, maybe my neighbor. They said I was acting strange. Oh God, not me. Why me? Oh God, oh my God. Ah! And so I ended up back in the same cold hospital room. Same gown, same shame. But this time, shame looked at me and called me weak. It looked at me and called me unlovable. It called me broken and unfixable. Broken and unfixable. I saw my brother in the corner. He was crying, his shoulders shaking with every breath. I hear my mom in the distance. She's on the phone with her pastor. Help me! Help me! Oh, help me! Fire is burning me! Fire is burning me, my life! My sister just finished bathing me, her hands trembling as she washed my body, careful not to break down. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. This is serious. This is serious. Maybe the meds weren't just a suggestion after all. Maybe they were a lifeline. I got stabilized. And this time, I stayed on my meds. 2,190 days. It's been 2,190 days of taking my meds every morning, of holding on to sanity deliberately, quietly. Two years after I got stabilized, I had a conversation with my then boyfriend, Nick. Hey, there's something you should know. He looked at me. I told him about the day they took my clothes. I told him about my diagnosis. I told him about the medication. I told him about my shame. And he held me. All of me. Not like I needed fixing, but like I already was enough. Thank you for sharing that with me, he said. Seven years. It's been 7 years since my diagnosis. And the shame, it's still there. It lingers like a faint stench, not strong enough to choke me anymore, but still enough to remind me that it once was unbearable. My family still tiptoes around my diagnosis, careful not to name it too directly. My mom still urges me to trust God and pray for a miracle. And now, I smile, resigned, tired. I nod, and I take my meds. I read, I learn, I empower myself with the truth of my diagnosis, faith and science holding me together. but I no longer feel alone. 1 in 5 Americans suffer from a mental illness. And on TikTok, they're finding me. My story, my diagnosis, the very thing I swore I'd bury is the very thing that's making me go viral. And every time I post, and every time someone comments, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for saying what I couldn't. The shame fades just a little bit more. And now, I mock shame. I mock shame by succeeding top of my graduating class. I mock shame by sharing my story on social media. I mock shame by removing my mask. What if healing doesn't mean forgetting? What if healing means owning every thread in my story, including the hospital gown? Thank you.
Of Jessica, Jade says, I am so grateful for the fun, passion, and commitment that you brought into our space. I've witnessed Jessica blossom through play and creative expression in the development of her piece. Her production piece brings an awareness of resilience that I have deep admiration for. I am super proud of you and your piece tonight. Jade perfectly summarizes Jessica. Jessica embodies strength. It is palpable on her. It's one thing to tell a story that you feel like you were on the other side of. It's another thing to tell a story that you were in the midst of. That rawness is very real. But Jessica reminds us that you do not need to wait until you are on the other side of your story to share it. In fact, many times it's when you're in the middle of it that you should be sharing it for others. Because while you're in the middle of it, and it might yank you back to despair, Jessica has used this journey to propel herself forward, and I too am very proud of her. So please welcome Jessica Peregrina with Como Quisiera Quererte.
Oh, wow. That was painful. My body was engulfed with a pain that felt serious, foreign, and non-negotiable. What just happened? Was that as painful as I thought it was? When was the last time I vacuumed? When I was 9 years old, my sister started working at Chuck E. Cheese. Every little girl's dream. On the night she closed, I stayed up, waiting for her. I would tippy-toe down the stairs and wait in the dark. I knew exactly the time that she would get off and exactly the time that she would get home. And so I waited diligently. But she never got home at the time that I thought she would. And so I start to worry. What if she was in a car accident? What if she got hurt? What if... My 9-year-old brain spiraled until I heard her key unlock the door. When I think about that little girl, I think I've always been anxious. I've been afraid for a long time. Last September, I asked for a raise. I'd been struggling for a long time. Actually, no, the whole fucking year. I'd held a youth program that was regularly staffed by 4 people on my own. I was training a new manager in programming, and I was dealing with a staff member that did not respect me. And my parents separated. And then got back together-ish. I was tired. I was tired of the work. I was tired of mediating between my parents. I was tired of it all. And so I asked for a raise. Because I deserved it. Because I worked hard. Because they owed me. And they responded in one afternoon with a 5-page document, single-spaced, about how 1, I was not getting that raise. And 2, I did not deserve that raise. And 3, resources that could support me as I navigate my new role. Plus, they added a mandatory in-person meeting for the very next day. I wait at our cafe, and I see my 2 coworkers come towards me. My chest begins to tighten. Oh, I feel nauseous. They sit at a bench and ask,
So what do you need in order to start this meeting, Jess? A raise, I think. To not be here? A raise? They read through my job description and refute every single bullet point I had added in my email. They talk at me for 20 minutes. They tell me that they couldn't justify giving me a raise because everyone else is working so hard. They tell me that all the extra things that I had added on my email were just part of my job. I knew nothing would change. What's coming up for you, Jess? I need a moment. Fuck! It's okay. It's okay. Thank you for your patience with me. I think I'm burnt out. Two things. One, I hate that I thanked them. I wish that I had communicated how hurt I was, not just by their actions today, but the whole fucking year. I wish I could have written a 5-page document telling them how much they'd hurt me. I wish I could have showed my anger. And two, I think this is the first time I ever admitted to being burnt out. I knew burnout. We've cohabitated before. I knew her as my annoyance, my lack of motivation, my irritability. My therapist described her to me as not just a lack of compassion for the community that I serve, but a lack of compassion for myself. That definition shattered me. Growing up, my mom would say to me, if you're gonna do something, do it right, or don't do it at all. And after so much therapy, I learned that I internalized that as, if I do something wrong, I'm not worthy. Worthy of love, companionship, respect, and all the fuzzy things that make life beautiful. I look back at this year and I gave so much of myself to my work, my friends, my family, because I was afraid. I was afraid of being abandoned. I was afraid of not being worthy. And when it came to work, I was afraid of failing. At the end of the meeting, my colleagues insisted I take 2 weeks off. I thought that all I needed was time. Time to rest. Time to wake up late, do some laundry, catch up. But with time came more stress, more anxiety. And I ignored every single sign my body threw at me. After the nurse insisted that I go to the hospital, I asked my roommate to call an ambulance. The first responders found me on my bedroom floor and took me to the nearest Kaiser. About 20 minutes after arriving, they wheel me in to the waiting area. I see my parents. My mom immediately heads towards me. She looks so worried. I want to cry. She asked me, what happened? I tell her that I was on the floor for 12 hours, that I couldn't get up, that I had peed myself, that I had refused to call an ambulance. She says to me, "Tú eres como yo." You are like me. I smile. I smile because a little part of me is proud that I sustained the pain like she would have, like a badge of honor, proving that I was as strong as her. I am also devastated by the realization that I was exhibiting the toughest part of my mom. The part that always worked, that always was cooking, always was cleaning, never rested. The part I judged. I thought I was better. I thought that my degree and my therapy, that my big words were going to protect me. And yet, everything else took priority. And in doing so, I suffered the consequences. All of my stress and my anxiety moved from my hands, my head, my chest, all the way down to my lower back, festering, hoping that I would change. And when I didn't, my body screamed for attention. I thought I was fine. When I was working till 9, I was fine. When I was witnessing my parents separate, I was fine. When I was burnt out, I was fine. Last night, when I was on the ground, I was fine. I'm not fine. Damn it! I fucking hate this! I hate that I can't get out of this wheelchair. I hate that I don't know how to heal. And I feel guilty. Guilty that I need it from people and that I don't know how to fix this. I need to do better. I deserve to do better. I want to heal. But where do I start? Thank you.
So you've now witnessed our first half of this show. We're going to go into a 15-minute intermission in a moment. Please stay for the second half and show the second half performers the same amount of love. You've been an amazing audience so far. Definitely remember to breathe. These stories can really bring up a lot of things for a lot of different people. So just honor what's coming up for yourself and also honor the performers. We always ask every year for people to just respect that stories are a gift. And as you are engaging with them, to engage as far as they are willing to go right now, because they are also going through their own experience as they are performing. But yeah, many of you were brought here for a different reason, so also encourage you during the intermission and after to connect with one another, ask each other what brought you here tonight, and definitely lean into community. But we will be back in 15 minutes.
Even
your patience. We'll be coming back in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Thank you. All right, welcome back, everyone. Did anyone get a chance to connect with anyone new? Some head nods, some head nods. Okay, cool. You understood the assignment. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around with us. I know it is 6 o'clock, and we said the program would end at 6 o'clock, but you all knew that wasn't going to happen. So hopefully, if you did park outside with the meter, hope that you replenished it. If not, do it quickly. We'll wait for you. But yeah, thank you all for sticking around with us. As just things shift, just, things go over a little bit, but I would say it's been pretty worth it, right? Yes, yes. First half was amazing. So before we get into the second half, just wanted to send some thanks out to some really special people who helped make this possible. If you have a brochure or pamphlet, you would see we have something here that says a huge thanks to all the folks who just really went above and beyond to support us in our program. There are so many more people that aren't listed on here because they came to our programs, they came to our events, they donated, things like that. But the folks on here are just folks that we want to call out especially. And speaking of which, this brochure is designed by Rodrigo Garcia, who unfortunately couldn't make it here today, but just a really beautiful design. In the previous years, it was Vina and Odelia on Canva. So it's really great that finally we get a professionally designed brochure. But what made this year feel extra special was we actually partnered with local businesses in the area to hold events, to hold community spaces. So I just want to thank Oakland Yard Wine Shop. They're a really great community spot. We worked with the Fountainhead in San Jose. And then Tall Boy, the Martini Bar in Temescal, voted East Bay's top bar of the year. They had a special drink for us there, and like $3 of the drinks came to support this program. So it's really amazing that as this program has developed, to kind of see how this program has shifted and changed and how community has rallied around us. And biggest thanks to Michael Carpenter right back there standing. Mike has been with us since year one and has seen this program grow, just does amazing wonders. He does all the tech, the sound, all of that stuff. So thank you, Mike, for all that you do for us, and we really, really appreciate you. Great. And thank you all for being here too. Hopefully one day next year we'll see you again. So in terms of speaking of community, I want to welcome back a cohort member from 2023 who will open us up for the second half. And this is what's so beautiful about these events is we can bring back these guest performers. And so I'll introduce her. Amanda Woolery is a creative writer and artist from New Jersey with Jamaican roots who has found her creative home in Oakland. A storyteller in both word and image, she brings vivid scenes to life through poetry and paint. Amanda regularly performs at local open mics and shares her diverse body of work across social media platforms. A 2023 Nuvalia cohort member, she has collaborated with numerous writing groups and lit organizations across the Bay. By day, she works as a documentary film at a film production company where her passion for powerful narratives continue to shine. So please, let's give a warm welcome to Amanda.
Chocolate Thoughts. This is a 3-part poem. Chocolate Part 1. I didn't like my first chocolate ice cream cone. It had a depth that I wasn't quite prepared for. I frowned and drew back, just like my first black coffee. Is that what people do to me? Like chocolate, like coffee, and everything dark and complex? Do they retreat once they've had a taste, only to return later for the depth, lustful for the mystery they once tasted but misunderstood? Chocolate Part 2. What about being Black? I remember when it wasn't cool yet. I remember when it wasn't popular. I remember when the only person who called me beautiful was my mother. I remember being Black before it was trending. I remember when Black was still an insult. I see myself, my reflection, and I wonder about my perception, about my invisibility and my noticeability, the way I'm seen and unseen at the same time superficially. Being Black is an oxymoron because it's the spotlight without being bright. Chocolate Part 3. One Thanksgiving, my niece Alina took a photo of me and my mom with a Polaroid camera. She delicately placed the photo on the table to develop. Minutes went by and we checked to see the results. The flash did nothing for our darkness. We were fanciful shadows hugging, our teeth gleaming in the void. The darkness of our skin didn't brighten or lighten with the flash. It only emboldened our Blackness, highlighting our silhouettes and our shine. We looked like a proper Kerry James Marshall painting. Years and years ago, this photo would have embarrassed me. I would have succumbed to the inner child ridicule of being so Black you can only see my teeth and eyes. I would have wanted to destroy the terribly lit photo evidence of my Blackness. I would have wanted to hide the photo so no one else would become aware of how Black I am, how Black my mother is. This is my ode to Black gums. Recessive and expressive, like an ice cream sandwich every time I smile. So they smile, so rare they stare into my grin, aware of the melanin, the skin I'm in. I'm calling in my family, both ancient and new, knowledge of all times in this time warp askew. Black seeds of Sirius to save the soul, Black seeds of Sirius be paying the toll.
Black gums and pearly teeth, I do like contrary to Chief Keef. Color theory activated like the mystic checkerboard. The cryptic yin and yang, the mental chess game, is scored. Blue hue chakra opens a portal when I laugh. Third eye to the sky as my signature autograph. Release the comedy from my belly, unlocking the puns. Mouth wide to the heavens as the ode to black gums. Mouth came off and I got me a grill. Mask came off and I got me a grill. Mask came off and revelations came to kill. The queen is dead, but I got gold in my head. Pearls on my portals, cause I stay fighting these mortals. Black gums, black guns, black suns, black holes, black souls, and black moles. Connecting dots from past to present, from present to Kemet. Life, death, life, transitions, missions, and visions, stay with them. So I turn off the news and listen to my intuition. I understand the depths of my conditions, that my black gums connect me to the most serious of suns. Thank you.
Wally writes of Jade. Jade's work is a testament to her innate strength and kindness, so it's a treat to see it on display. She brings a playful and fun energy to our space. It's encouraging to watch her words transform as they come to life on stage. When I first met Jade, she said that she was a little scared to talk about this stage of her life in this story. She talked about how hard it is to do the work of digging, which Jade talks about is when you go back to how you felt in a moment and how difficult it is to remember how hard those feelings are and bring them to the forefront as you write. But what she shared is the heart of what we do. It's the ability to take a part of your story and hold it in a new way and one that honors how you want to tell it and when you want to tell it. And I have had the honor of walking alongside Jade as she excavates the past and brings it forward to her present with a light that is beautiful and resilient. It has been so inspiring to watch your journey, Jade, and I hope all of you are inspired here today. So please help me welcome Laura Jade Lynn with Undistorted.
I didn't always know who I was, but I remember a version of me who did. I was 2 years old, 3 blocks away from home, wandering free in the streets all by myself. The police found me and brought me back to my mother. But nobody ever talks about how I felt then. Fearless, boundless, whole. Then came the corrections. Sit up straight, look confident. No TV. Study hard, make more money. Be thinner, like your friend. Tie your hair back. Taller forehead, longer nose. Look more beautiful. I guess being me wasn't good enough. I know my mother. She wanted the best for me. I think she loves me. I'm home. Mmm, black-eyed pea pie, my favorite. Ma, look, Disney. They're having auditions. They're looking for teenage extras. I mean, how hard can it be? I can do the Carlton. Men in that industry only want to take advantage of young, naive girls like you. Go study, get a good job, you'll be okay. Yeah, I guess I'll be okay. As she spoke of her vision of my future, I watched my dreams float away with steam out that kitchen window. Maybe she's right. But I still loved watching TV sitcoms every chance I got. And at times in the middle of the show, I would hear, "Why aren't you studying?" Oh, I was studying all right. I was studying actors and actresses. In fact, the more I studied them, the more I wanted to become a female action hero. Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. Michelle Yeoh in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And oh, Mulan. Mulan was my idol. She challenged traditional roles, had the courage to be different, and fought for what mattered to her. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? They seem so free to be themselves. Maybe one day I'd figure out how to fix myself. Then at age 15, I had an opportunity to learn Taekwondo through my after-school program. Overweight and determined, I committed to the rigorous training for the whole 3 months. I lost weight, so much weight, gained so much confidence that the bullying at school finally stopped. Mom, I want to continue Taekwondo classes. I've gained so much confidence, lost weight, and worked so hard, just like you wanted. Can you help pay for my tuition? Martial arts is for boys. Girls like you should be gentle and graceful, not aggressive. You should focus on your studies, and learn how to take care of a family. Being quiet and obedient doesn't work. I am not your doll. You can't control me. I swear, when I have my own child, I would love them just the way I want to be loved. I remember the first time I held my son. I will love you for who you are. You will never have to earn my love. Throughout the years, I've asked my mother to be less critical of me and my child. You can listen or not. Traditions must be followed. No exceptions. My heart that day divorced hers. If my child and I cannot freely express ourselves, why should I listen to her voice, her opinions, her values? They weren't mine. Then one day, in the middle of first grade, my son didn't want to do his homework. Suddenly, I found myself blurting out, if you do not do your homework, you will not be good enough. Where the hell did that come from? My mind knew that love was not earned, but my body was furious every time my child disobeyed me. So I breathed. I felt into the anger. And I breathed. And I felt into the anger. And I breathed. And I felt into the anger. Ah! As the anger started to melt away, the entanglement between me and what didn't belong to me drifted away. The pancakes are ready. Ooh, maple syrup and whipped cream? Fancy. So where do you want to go today? Do you want to run to the park? Swim at the beach? Oh, I know. You want to go to Cal Academy, don't you? Anywhere you like, we can go. Mom, where do you want to go? I hadn't considered pleasure for myself for a very long time. But he did. He saw the child inside of me. The 2-year-old who was fearless, boundless, and whole. The one before corrections. She's right here.
About Sienna, Aura writes, Sienna is full of life, a vibrant presence that lights up every room she enters. She's a natural storyteller who is able to turn even the simplest moments into captivating scenes. Her words are warm, honest, and often laced with humor, drawing people in with ease. Her gift lies not just in what she says, but in how deeply she connects with her audience. I've also had the pleasure of working with Sienna and her story, and it's just always so much fun and so joyful. There are very few people who I think can deliver you bad news with such joy and happiness. She didn't have to do that, but I assume that if she did, she would do it with a beautiful smile that would make me feel really at ease. So really excited for you all to witness this beautiful story that she's going to share. So please help me to welcome Sienna to the stage.
We met in the summer, sprawled out on the grassy hillside of Stern Grove Park in San Francisco. Surrounded by orange and yellow nasturtium, we locked eyes. And after a few flirtatious texts, found ourselves sharing honey lavender ice cream, swimming in the cool pools of the Russian River, kissing under the eaves of gazebos in rose gardens, eyes locked. She was the first person I'd met where I felt seen. I wanted to stand in the sun with her, proud that I had finally met someone that was dedicated to making us work. So, how do you want me to introduce you to my mom? You know, because we aren't technically, well, official and all. We could just say that we're friends. Sure. Let's do that. Mom, this is Ray. Ray! It's good to meet you. And what do you do? I work in the biosciences. Intriguing. I couldn't tell you what we had for dinner that night. or honestly what we even talked about. All I could tell you was that it was awkward. My mom, who's usually very excited to meet any one of my friends, was now being cordial at best. Ray was the first person that I had brought home to my mom, the first woman I was bringing home to meet my mother. And later in the car, she asked me, "So, how long have you been dating Ray?" I had barely grazed hands with this girl, let alone done anything. Like, how did she even peep that? And when I asked her, she just said, "I could just tell." You know, she wasn't engaging with you like your other friends, Haley. I could just tell. And I will love you regardless. You're grown now and you're making your own decisions. I just pray that God saves your soul. And that's when I realized I didn't have her approval. I didn't have God's approval. Was I even making the right choice by being with Ray? Here I was headed into my mid-30s. If we were to build a family together, what would that even look like with my immediate family? Would I actually burn in hell for being with a woman? It's been something that I've worried about since childhood. It's been proclaimed from church houses that God would not accept this lifestyle into the kingdom of heaven. But does America actually believe that it's going into heaven with all the blood on its hands? But you want to tell me. I sat with these thoughts, and it just festered for months. And I started getting really irritated when Ray wasn't meeting my needs. I was getting annoyed when she couldn't balance out the flurry of plans that she had with her friends and had to cancel one of our dates yet again. Didn't she realize that I was risking it all to be with her? And so finally, I just said, "What do you want?" What do you mean, what do I want? I mean, what do you want? Is this it? I was throwing down the gauntlet. I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied. And I wasn't even sure I was okay with where we were headed. So I just called it off. Over the next few months, I just kind of processed that. Until one day, I came across this call for dancers to be a part of the Black Joy Parade. Now, I hadn't taken a dance class in close to a decade, let alone ever even danced in a parade, but I just thought about how amazing it would be to come out of a state of depression to a celebration in the streets. So I submitted my application. And the dancers, they came from everywhere. They came from down south, to the Caribbean, to the East Coast. Each of them brought their own movement to the polyrhythmic music. Now, I can follow the choreo pretty easy. You know, I got it. But if you asked me to do it on my own, everything went out the window. My mind would go blank. Dance put a mirror up to myself. All of my thoughts were on display. And I realized the only way that I could really lean into the movement was if I let something go. It gave me a reason to get out of bed. And while, let's be real, it wasn't a complete escape from heartbreak, it did lift my spirits. So, on the day of the parade, I got ready 3 hours ahead of time. I did my hair, my makeup, added some gems, ordered an Uber. And as soon as I pulled up to the spot, as soon as I stepped out the car, there she was. Standing as a crowd volunteer stationed on the same block as my team. What was she even doing here? I had just spent the past 3 months trying to get over this girl. And why the hell couldn't she just stay on her own side in San Francisco? This was supposed to be my comeback. And I told my friend that she was here. Well, you know, maybe it's a sign that the two of you should talk. You know, rip off the Band-Aid. Hell no! If this was some sort of sign, she would be right in front of me, dead center, unavoidable. But I had a say in this. But yeah, I had a question in this. Why is the Bay Area Black queer scene so damn small? And before I knew it, we were being called onto the parade route. And hell, I tried to get into the choreo. But my mind wasn't there. And honestly, it wasn't until we started doing these spins where I finally just felt myself letting go. Here we all were in the streets of Oakland, celebrating Black joy. Aunties cheering us on, elders just happy that we're outside. Kids seeing each other in the crowd, giving each other Mardi Gras beads. My community was on lock. We are outside. Despite our current circumstances, despite our faith crises, and celebration of each other. This is one of my many stories. How I use dance as a portal to my Black joy. Thank you. Oh.
we've come to our final performance of the evening. Sienna writes of Wally. It has been a pleasure to witness Wally's story come to life over the past few months. She's an amazing storyteller and has inspired our cohort to step out of our comfort zone and share our creativity and truths to the world. So when we think about the arc of our show, we always think about what we want to leave you all with. And when I think about right now, I think about the fact that none of us know what's going to become of this moment. We all just know that like we need to be different than we have been in the past. And Wally's piece reminds us of what it takes to transform as an individual and how to do that over and over and over again, as many times as it takes to meet your needs and to meet the demands of the moment. So I'm really excited for you to hear this final piece of the evening, Wally Ajayi, Journey.
Home was humid. Growing up, we'd rush inside just before sundown and book it upstairs straight into a fume of hot pepper stew. We'd spend all summer riding bikes outside and chasing the embers of cascading baseball fireworks. I dreaded autumn because I'd spend all year in summer heat if I could, but fall's crunchy leaves always managed to charm me by Halloween. Now, winter, my mortal enemy, was still humid, but bitterly cold. Have you ever watched rain turn to ice before it's even hit the ground? And spring could be warmer, but spring signaled hope. It meant the blessed end of a school year. It meant the end of my marathon, endless assignments, back-to-back, school, church, performances. Spring meant that summer was on its way, and I could be happy. My parents are both part magpie and monarch butterfly. They love to carry as much as they physically can, wherever they travel, and they love to travel far, where they think the water is warmer. To them, home isn't anchored to a single land. It's fluid, and I felt the same. So I left home as Esther with a bag almost bigger than my body, overflowing with things that they convinced me would be needed for my journey. In it, I carried a Bible, a first aid kit, stationery to write back home with, and wore the weight of every shortcoming on my wrists and ankles, convinced that this is what I needed to get stronger. But travel is difficult with a heavy load. As I moved along my path, I assessed the weight of my bag and each item, piece by piece. Testing my burdens felt otherworldly and forbidden, as if by doing so, I were disowning a part of my home and altering my identity. But I realized this excess weight slowed me down and made it hard for me to get strong. As I moved along my path and discarded more and more of the excess weight imposed by home, I realized it's okay to let go of things like old journals and foreign gods. I realized this process is giving me permission, and that I don't need to wait for summer to be happy. Suddenly, it felt like I could transform matter or the universe myself. Is this feeling why they call knowledge forbidden fruit? I don't think it's evil. And now, feeling buoyant, I'm kind of like
unrestrained. Like I can move, almost reckless. And I can chase after joy. So I ran and I frolicked and I enjoyed myself. And I tumbled all the way to the West Coast, where I decided, finally, to rest. Now, moving here felt like falling into a fairy tale. It's gorgeous here. There are trees taller than giants, culture and art and technology stacked on top of each other in a tiny amount of space. And it even has a bay to match the one that I left back home. Honestly, it's colder than I would like, but the people are warmer than you'd expect. The librarian will give you resources to conquer your enemies, and they call it community aid. The seer that you meet at Dolores Park will provide you with a tea to help you unlock multiple dimensions. And turns out, not only is your local bartender someone with a heart of gold, if you reciprocate her kindness, she'll give you a shot of liquid courage. I love the Bay. It's irrational. When people ask me why I moved here, I just make something up on the fly because I don't have a good answer. Or I don't have a good enough answer for little Esther. Somewhere between home and here and unburdening myself, I shed Esther and became Wally. Before doing so, I didn't have the humility to accept the kindness that the librarian offers. I couldn't stand being acknowledged by the seer long enough to enjoy the comfort of being witnessed. And I didn't have the bravery to befriend someone like the bartender who so outwardly presented the way that I inwardly felt. I love this place in a way that Esther didn't have the capacity to. And I don't blame her for it. I think this kind of love is what she wanted. If Esther never stepped on that path, then I, Wally, would not exist. I think when I started this process, I knew that something about it was destructive, that something would change forever, and that a part of me would die. One day, I woke up, my hereditary wanderlust ignited, and decided it is time for me to start a new journey. I felt so much stronger, like I can move over or to or in, wherever, but I just really didn't want to move backwards. So before I went anywhere, I decided to repack my bag. I went to my new friends. I figured they have newer, better things to fill my bag with. I start with the librarian, but even from a distance, they look frazzled. They say, "I'm so sorry, I don't have much to give you, but here." And they gave me a map of vague, overlapping paths. It wasn't the kind of help I was anticipating, but I appreciate their warm hands and sincere eyes as they send me off with the promise, we'll both be okay, eventually. The librarian always seems so calm and self-assured, like their endless well of hope is deeper than the pockets that threaten them. I try to shake it off, and I go to the park, inhale the sunshine, exhale the seer's holistic medicine. We pass blunts between each other as we watch the creeping fog take over the sky. And I ask him, "What future do you see?" And he takes a drag, immune to my agitation, and he says, nothing. He laughs. And he says, it's just all so foggy, you know, there's just too much stuff. And he hands me his lighter, and he says, we have to keep going because we know the sun is on the other side. For now, here's a little bit of light. And I try to laugh along with him because, you know, I want to feel light, but I can't shake the feeling like my heart is stuck in my throat. I excuse myself and try to put my new items into my bag, but it feels wrong, like I'm not doing it right. I try to rearrange and scramble and shove my items in here, but this time it doesn't feel like my bag is heavy, but it's unbalanced, like everything could fall out. I decide to visit the bartender. I feel too overexposed outside. This time of day feels like walking into a pocket of time, like I can find refuge in the liminal space between times of day. The bartender greets me warmly and encourages me to ease into a chair. We don't talk for a while. I take advantage of this time to reassess my bag, unpack the items, and repack them piece by piece. She slides me a shot and offers, I'll take it with you. I don't feel ready to accept it. Once I leave here, I'll have to try carrying my bag again. And if it's still unbalanced, I'll have to start my journey anyway. Why is this so hard? I got what I asked for. I received help. I received comfort. So why does it feel like I can't move forward? Why am I paralyzed? I think of Esther stuck in her perpetual winter. And I look at the shot glass and I wonder, is this the moment that I leave Wally and become someone new? But I don't feel ready to transform anything, especially myself. What have I forgotten? Well, Esther knew. And whatever Esther knows, Wally knows. So if I forgot something, maybe I misplaced it somewhere along the way. Maybe while Esther was repacking her bag, she forgot something important and left it behind. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if a shot is going to tell me what or where it happened. But I know I don't want to move backwards. I know I can't stay here. I know I love Esther and Wally and whoever, if they ever come next. And I know that what I want in this moment is courage.
So as we close out the show, it has become a tradition that I take a line or a few lines from each one of the pieces that you heard tonight, and I transform them into a poem or a piece that feels fitting for the moment. So tonight, even the title comes from a line from one of the pieces you heard here tonight, and it's called I Want to Heal, but Where Do I Start? I didn't always know who I was, but I remember the version of me who did. I discovered it's okay to let go of things like foreign gods and old journals, and that I don't need to wait for summer to be happy. Sometimes, when I am grounded and I'm in the flow, I can remember that I'm divine and I can act from that place. Maybe healing doesn't mean forgetting. Maybe healing means owning every thread of my story. Fearless, boundless, whole. This is one of my many stories. I am remembering for all of us. And I just want to say one more time just how incredibly proud we are of each of the performers here tonight. These pieces are even longer than we've had in the past, and just the ability to memorize and just to like put such emotion and all of themselves in these pieces. Like, we were here pretty late last night, and we knew we're just like every time, every year, like because of like an incredible audience and just like all the energy you give each other, it's always the best time that they've ever done with the performance, and today has been no exception. And just like all the feelings, I always cry every year, and just like I hope you all are so proud of what you've done here tonight, and will continue on this journey to whatever version of yourself creates the next story.
And I'd love to take this time for the audience to just, can we shout out these ladies and give them a big round of applause for everything they've done. Really amazing work. Congratulations, y'all. Right. Turn around, look at your audience members. Yeah. Take in another bow. We want to thank you all so much for being here. It's not 7 yet. Next year, Odelia was like, yeah, next year, let's do 4 to 7 to be sure. But we want to thank you for being such an amazing, captive audience. Thank you for your energy. Really felt palpable in this room. I think it's just really important that, like I said in the beginning, we're holding this container for all these important stories. And we'll continue to share stories as well. And so we'd like to invite you, if there was something here that resonated with you, you want to share how these stories made you feel, if you'd like to connect with us in some kind of way, shape, or form, please scan this QR code and let us know. We'd love to connect with you. Every year we get folks messaging us, telling us that they want to share their story, that they want to bring this kind of program to their work and their community. So we'd really love to connect with you, and please find us after the show. And yeah, just one final applause for our lovely performers. Congratulations. All right, DJ So Somatic, please take us out.